Hey everyone, I'm Zach Titus, and welcome back to another edition of the BNEWS Sports Hub. This time, we will have a conversation with Lady Devils Ice Hockey. Today's guests are head coach Rick Sheehan, senior Caitlyn Tremblay, Ava Robitaille, and Emma Steiner. Robert Paris also has a Red Devil review, and we will highlight Caitlyn in our Players Spotlight. That's right now on the Sports Hub. To jumpstart our discussion, we will offer you a little refresher from this season. Let's go to our Red Devil review.
Hey everyone, I'm Robert Paris, and this is your Red Devil review. Assistant principal by day and coach by night, Rick Sheehan is now in his 6th season as the girls' hockey head coach. The team is coming off an historic season with 17 wins, 1 loss, and 2 ties. Why is it historic? Because it is the most wins in a season in the program's history. Last year, the team scored a total of 75 goals in the regular season and allowed 17 points on defense, which is pretty impressive. In the playoffs, they competed against Medway in the first round, winning a blowout victory of 5-1. Burlington returned in the Sweet 16 and an 8-0 shutout win against Plymouth South. The historic season came to an end in the Elite 8 round after a heartbreaking loss of 2-0 against Marshfield. 7 seniors departed from the team last spring, including stars Shane McDonald, Abby Watazik, and Mia Lauder. 5 newcomers joined the team this offseason, including 4 8th graders and 1 freshman. Eva Ciccolini had her first career goal in the game against Lexington as a freshman. Caitlyn Tremblay was named the senior captain, and she was the only senior on the roster. Working alongside her are assistant captains and juniors Carly Weber and Ava Robitaille. Currently, they have a record of 6-3 with victories over Lexington, Arlington, Stoneham, Leominster, Boston Latin, and Wakefield. In the Middlesex League Freedom standings, the team currently sits in 2nd place. On top is Melrose. 3rd is Stoneham/Wilmington, followed by Wakefield/Watertown at the bottom. The team scored 39 goals on offense and allowed 27 goals on defense. Burlington has 8 more games coming their way, including a lobster pot tournament scheduled for February 17th and 18th, facing Boston Latin in the first round. During the winter break, Rick Sheehan, along with his team, attended the Wasabi Bowl at Fenway. I caught up with him in an interview prior to this episode. BH's Associate Principal Rick Sheehan was selected as the honor roll recipient at the 2024 Wasabi Bowl this past December. He was nominated by one of his athletes, junior Carly Weber.
They had to write a narrative as to why I deserved the award. She wrote an essay about what I do for the program, and they obviously thought it was worthy enough.
In the spring, Rick will be retiring from his position as their associate principal. It was extra special to be given this award, as he knows that he'll be going out on a high note.
It's nice to be recognized. It just so coincidentally happens in the year, my last year here at the high school. Yes, I am retiring. I plan on retiring come June. It's a pretty special award, and it's a regional award. It's not even just the state of Massachusetts. It's all of New England. So it was a pretty big deal.
Rick and the hockey team traveled to Fenway Park for the event, and he said it was a great experience despite the rainy weather.
North Carolina playing UConn in a bowl game, which is pretty cool to go to, period. The weather didn't start out too great. On the bus ride down, it was raining, but by the time we get into the game, the rain had stopped. The weather was comfortable. It wasn't cold. We weren't really cold at all. It turned out to be a pretty decent day for it. The really nice thing that happened was the UConn Husky mascot came over and took a picture with the team. It's a very cool picture. Yeah, the Husky's in the middle of the picture, and the girls are all around the Husky, and they enjoyed it. They had a good time. They got their popcorn, they got their peanuts. It worked out well, for everyone.
Rick had the opportunity to wave to thousands of people in the stands down on the field.
Well, the good news is I didn't have to speak. They announced your name, and they said, just give us a wave, when we announce your names. It was really nice. What they did is they invited all of the semifinalists to the game as well. And they recognized them standing in front of the Green Monster. So it was all the semifinalists and then the 3 award winners, myself and the other 2 teachers. So it wasn't there wasn't a lot of pressure. I didn't really have to say or do anything other than acknowledge my name being mentioned in front of the crowd. But it was a good crowd. It was a big crowd. Fenway Park's a pretty cool place to be. It's probably the most historic facility, athletic facility in the country. For sure. One of the reasons I am where I'm at is because of the girls that I coach, and I'm very lucky to do that. I feel the same way about the students at Burlington. I am where I am today because of the town of Burlington and the kids that have come into my life. And I've had nothing but great experiences and great memories.
From the Burlington Ice Palace, I'm Robert Paris for BNEWS Sports. As mentioned in the video, this will be Rick Sheehan's last year as the associate principal. He will continue to coach for the Lady Devils ice hockey team in 2026. I'm Robert Paris, and that has been your Red Devil Review. Now, let's go to Zach with Rick Sheehan.
Thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Of course. So I guess let's get into it. This will be your 6th season as the girls hockey coach, right?
Yes.
So what has this experience been like for you?
This has probably been one of the most enjoyable experiences I've ever had. I've been in Burlington for 24 years, as you well know.
Wow.
And coaching the girls, I've enjoyed completely from the second I started, right through till today. Every day, every season's been a different season. I think our locker room has gotten really close over the years. I enjoy watching the girls interact and get along because one of the things, and I think Caitlyn, tipped off on it, is that the experience you have in the locker room is you're like a family. You know what I mean? And some of the things you do, they do their pasta parties. They do some things outside of the rink, but watching them interact in the locker room and on the ice. It's very rewarding. It's a lot of fun. I've enjoyed it. This year's team maybe more so. I know it's because we're a little younger, so the younger girls really do look up to the older girls. But this year's been a lot of fun. The locker room has been a very, very entertaining place, and I think it's been an enjoyable place for the entire team.
Like good community.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yep. They get together. They get along. They really do get along. I don't really think there's a lot of cliquey stuff going on. I think they care about one another, which I think is important. And I think it shows when it comes, when it comes game time.
Yeah, for sure. Your program has had an incredible season, finishing the regular season with a 17-win, 1 loss and 2 draw record.
Yes.
That's pretty incredible. What has made this team special? You mentioned some community.
This current team, you learn from the older girls, and we were lucky enough to graduate 7 seniors. I know you might have a question coming up about next year's team or last year's team, but the younger girls learn from the older girls, and last year's senior class was a great class. A lot of good kids, a lot of good leadership, just a lot of good kids who are role models, be it hockey or outside in the community here in school. The good students, good kids in our school community, and I think, you learn from the role models ahead of you. And Caitlyn mentioned it all as well already. You look up to those girls, you learn from those girls, and the leadership's been very, very positive. When I first took over, I said to the seniors and the captains more in particular, I want the locker room to have a positive atmosphere. I want a positive atmosphere, and as far as everything that we do, we're not going to win a lot. We're not going to win every game, but we're not going to lose every game. But we do need to stick together, and I think that has kind of transcended every single team so far. And I think this year's team is no different. I think the current captains have learned from the older about what it's like to create a positive environment, be a solid role model, be a good leader in the locker room, on the team, even here in school.
That's good. I guess as you mentioned then, the 7 outstanding seniors who've graduated from the hockey team,
right?
Who have some kind of filled those gaps?
We've always had an 8th grade waiver for probably as long as the hockey program has been in existence. So we've always dipped into the middle school. In last year's seniors, we dipped into the 7th grade when they were 7th graders. Wow. So last year's seniors played for 6 years. So they were in this program for a long time. Caitlyn herself played as an 8th grader. So this is her 5th year. So when you start pulling up some of the middle school students, by the time they're seniors, they've been around for a while and they kind of understand. And Caitlyn talked about setting the bar high, and we have set a high bar as far as the things that we expect, the performance we do in practice, as well as the things we expect in outcomes in a game. And I think the younger girls have picked up on that experience. Like last year's team, I have 4 8th graders, but they played last year as 7th graders. So they were in that locker room with 7 seniors. They saw how the dynamics of the locker room went. They saw how the interaction in the team atmosphere and the bonding that took place. They get that, and now they're back as 8th graders. So even though we're still young, they were in that locker room last year, and they learned from all those seniors. So this year's kids, obviously Caitlyn Tremblay has stepped in, Emma Steiner has stepped in, Sophia Cleary is an 8th grader. She's on the first line right wing.
Wow.
She played last year as a 7th grader. We beat Hingham 1-0 last year, and she scored the game-winning goal, and she was in 7th grade.
That's impressive.
So I've had some of those kids come back. I've got, Shayla Coker has come back. Chloe Rabazi, who played last year as a 7th grader, as well as Brielle Curran. She played as a 7th grader last year. They're all playing a role now, and they played a role last year. So this is, as 8th graders, this is their 2nd year of varsity hockey, which is, it's an odd phenomenon. You don't see too many 7th graders in their 2nd year of varsity hockey as an 8th grader. So, there's been we've only got a few new faces. So most of this year's roster was on the team last year. We made it to the quarterfinals in the state tournament last year. So they've been along for that ride, and they've been in part of that locker room. They've been in practice every single day. They know the things that we do, the expectations that we have. They know the leadership in the locker room and what's expected of them. So it's been a pretty good transition this year, despite we're young. Our numbers are few. There's 11 skaters and a goalie, so that's really not a typical roster. Usually you probably have about anywhere from 15 to maybe sometimes in good cases 20, 21 kids. But we're operating with 12. But a good number of those 12 were in that locker room last year, and they had a good experience as the team did last year.
And you talked about like that how like this team's like one of their greatest strengths is like seeing the like older generation. So
Yep.
like it's cool like how when they start off they just like continue to get even better.
Yeah, they do. I think they see the value in teamwork, which we preach. They see the value in being close and being friendly and liking each other. Do you know what I mean? And getting along.
Yeah.
They do a lot of things together. The girls, the older girls have been very good about picking up the younger girls and driving them and taking them where they need to be sometimes, like a pasta party, or they'll go to Panera's maybe after practice sometimes, and then they'll drive them home. Or like during vacation, our practices we move them into the morning, so they'll pick them up and take them to practice. So there's been a lot of camaraderie amongst the team in that locker room. And there's a lot of good bonding that goes on. A lot of good friendships, I think, are being made, as well as a lot of really good memories. A lot of solid memories, I think.
That's really good. Given your current program success, current program status, sorry, how can you try to replicate that season's successes?
Well, I think, as Caitlyn mentioned too, we set a high bar. We've improved every single year, so the bar has been kind of raised as we've gone on. And I think any successful coach and program wants to do that. You want to continue to improve on previous seasons and previous achievements. And again, you practice every day. They call it practice for a reason. We do a lot of repetition. We practice a lot of different things. We practice the defensive zone on a regular basis. We practice our forecheck. We practice our power play. You go over things on a consistent basis, and over the course of time, they really do understand what's going on and how to execute certain plays. And it takes time. I think one of the things we're dealing with this year is we're young, and we've got some new faces, and they're trying to work their way into the systems and learn what we're doing. And it's getting there. You know what I mean? It's getting there. We've been pretty successful so far. We've had some good wins. We just beat Leominster a week ago, and that was a really good win. It was a very good win. And they were a good team, and we played out in Fitchburg, which was a cool experience. But, it takes time. It takes repetition. And sometimes the girls get a little tired with me, because we do go over things quite a bit. But I think there is some real benefit to it in the long run.
It's paying off, honestly.
It does.
Yeah.
It pays off over time. Do you know what I mean? You do it enough times, you learn it. Like you could do it in your sleep, and you know what? You're going to be pretty successful.
The results are
amazing.
amazing.
Yeah, and the results do speak for themselves, I think.
Who from last year's team is helping to kind of bridge that gap then?
Caitlyn, obviously. Emma, for sure. The returners. I only run 2 lines anyway, which is 10 skaters, and the returners were on that team from last year. Shayla Coker was on that team. Sophia Cleary was on that team. Chloe Rabazi and Brielle Curran. Even Kira Brindle, who was our goalie. She was a backup last year, but she was part of the picture. And they've all stepped up and filled the void of the seniors who had graduated. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everyone's moved on, and these girls have now stepped up and, filled the role, and they're playing very well. We move the puck well, we communicate, we talk on the ice, which is a big part of being, having a good passing game. I say it all the time, the communication game helps the passing game, and they've actually gotten very good at it. So things are getting better. Every day. I've seen progress each and every day. We're definitely getting better. And I know some of the Olympians have talked about if you can get just better, 1% better every single day, you're doing well. And I would have to say we're trying to follow something similar to that, and I think we are.
And I mean, considering for like an 11-person team, like when you have that communication and that constant improvement, like
right,
that's enough that honestly it works.
It's special.
Yeah.
It's special, and it's fun to watch it develop, and it takes time. But they're working at it. They're working at it, and they're coming around. We're playing some pretty good hockey right now. It's been fun.
It's good. Who are some of the newcomers to varsity that are helping fill the spots of last year's seniors?
Not a newcomer, but a newcomer because she was hurt last year was Ava. Ava Robitaille hurt her elbow, so she didn't play last year. She played as a 9th grader. She has really stepped in and filled a huge void because she's our second line center. Had she continued to suffer through an injury, I don't know who'd play second line center right now. Maybe me. I don't know. Maybe you. If you could skate, if you could skate, who knows?
Skate.
But Ava's really filled in a void there. And then some of the new faces is Sammy Ciccolini, who is a 9th grader. She's new. And then we picked up a 7th grader as well. Again, so we've dipped into the 7th grade one more time. So we have a 7th grader, Nikki Griffin, who's turned out to be, she's playing defense, and she's worked out really, really well. Two of the other girls that were on the team last year that have really contributed quite a bit is Carly Weber is playing defense for us, as well as Ellie Benjamin. And they've really stepped up. They were forwards. They've made a huge sacrifice for us. They played forward the past couple of years, and I asked them to play defense this year, and they've done it, and they've been they're getting better every day. Same thing. They're successful.
Well.
Yep, they're improving every single day. They're really helping us out. Playing defense is a very difficult position to play. It involves a lot of decision making. When a defenseman makes a decision and it's a bad one, it usually leads to a goal scoring chance. A forward makes a bad decision, it doesn't lead to a goal scoring chance. You know what I mean? So
it's like a different.
Yeah, they're playing two very different positions, and the two of them have really stepped up their game. I don't know where we'd be without them as well, because playing defense is difficult. And as it is, I walked into the season with only two defensemen. They stepped up and played, and then come to find out, Nikki Griffin, the 7th grader, plays defense. So that's kind of rounded out our defensive core of 5.
Wow.
Of 5.
5.
5.
And for like reference, like the other teams are playing with
6 or 8.
6 or 8. Okay.
6 or 8 easily. Usually, most teams carry 8. That's a pretty typical roster count for that position. Would be anywhere in this 8, maybe even 9 sometimes.
And you're still competing very strongly. I mean,
yeah, we're in the games. You know what I mean? We lost to Melrose the other day, but we played well. We outshot them. We were in the game, and the puck just didn't bounce our way. Chloe hit the post with about 3 minutes to go. Caitlyn Tremblay has a breakaway. The girl makes a save. But we're playing. We're creating chances. We're creating opportunities. So they're doing the right things. They're putting themselves in the right position. But like I said, the puck just didn't go away. But we're competitive, and we're doing it.
And that's progress, and that's like not only progress. That's like success in and of itself.
Yeah.
Really, right?
Yes. Yeah. We're getting there. We're getting there.
As you mentioned multiple times, Caitlyn Tremblay is one of the players who was both part of last season and this season.
Right.
What kind of leadership qualities, you've talked about some already, but as she brought as the senior captain?
She clearly is a role model, beyond description role model that you want in every single. When you think about leadership and a captain and someone you want to lead your team, she is the epitome of what you want as a leader. She sacrifices her body, she sacrifices her game. She'll set people up, but she is a true role model in that she gives 110%. Literally in the Leominster game, I would say, and I've never seen this in such a long time. She literally put our team on her back. And carried us, and we beat them 3-2. She assisted on the first 2 goals and scored the game winner. And it was such an individual effort. I was in awe of her performance. And you don't really see too many athletes who can do that. She, like I said, she put our team on her back and said, we're gonna win this.
That's
and
so
yeah, good. she's very, very good. She's very talented. She's very skilled. She's also very humble. You never know. The girl is probably she might be the MVP of the league.
Really?
She really is. Her name will be in that discussion at the end of the season, no doubt.
Wow.
No doubt in my mind.
Honestly, I believe that, yeah. Now, as I know you probably more, you're an associate principal by day.
Right.
and hockey coach by night. How does having these two positions help you manage your time like effectively?
I think you have to manage your time. I think it's something you learn as an athlete. You know, as an athlete in high school, you come out of school, you go to practice, you go home, you shower, maybe you eat dinner, maybe you get your homework done. You have to follow a daily schedule, and I think you learn that as an athlete, particularly as a student athlete. And it's similar. You know, teachers do the same thing as teachers who are coaches, as I am the same. You know, you work out your daily plans. You have what goes on during the course of your day. You've got your practice. You know, and you get into a routine. And when the hockey season comes, you get into that routine.
Get into that routine.
And that's what you do. Fortunately, we practice at 3:30 every day. They're done by 4:20. They go home, they shower, they probably sit down, they get their homework done. And then you kind of get ready for the next day. Some of them have part-time jobs, but I do the same.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I follow a very similar pattern. You get ready, you get home. There's a lot of off the ice stuff you have to do.
As a coach.
As the coach, and kind of getting stuff done for the team and making sure things go well. But I'm fortunate that I work in the building. I have access to the team, every day.
Every day.
And it's worked out very well. It's nice. I like to see them in the cafeteria. Generally in the cafeteria is when I get to talk to, the students that are in a leisure and casual setting. I'm not disciplining anybody in my office.
That's good.
But like I said, I create a daily routine, and then before you know it, like sometimes I don't even know what day it is because it's just all right. We could practice today. What's today's date? What are we doing? Fortunately, this weekend we have off, which is a nice break. We played 9 games. We got 11 more to go, so we're kind of at the halfway point, and where we've been skating really, really hard. This is a good time for a break. We can't have any injuries this year. We can't have any cold or flu bugs. I was talking to Bobby Conceition, the boys coach, who just talked to the Westford Academy coach, who said he had 8 kids with the flu.
Wow.
Yeah, once it gets in your locker room, it just goes around, and that's not good.
Want to avoid as much of that.
Yeah, so we've been lucky so far,
good.
as far as keeping everyone healthy.
Yeah.
So, but in any event.
Yeah. You mentioned you were a student athlete. What were your primary sports?
I played hockey and baseball.
Hockey and baseball
in high school, and then I played hockey in college.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a good experience.
And definitely taught you a lot about time management.
Yeah, you learn about planning and exactly plan your time. I think time management is probably one of the biggest things students need to learn, particularly when they go off to college, because you do have additional time on your hand. Like here, we tie them up every day for 6.5 hours, whatever the case may be. But if you go off to college, you have a little bit more free time. So you have to have a little bit of self-discipline. You have to have a little structure. You have to figure out time management and be able to get things done. And not put things off. We're all procrastinators. I don't think there's anybody who's not. Yeah. We've all procrastinated at some point, particularly when it comes to schoolwork, I think.
Yes.
But you need to learn that. And I think the structure of high school, the daily structure, not even just the school day, but beyond that, like I said, practice, dinner, home, whatever, shower. It's important to be able to manage your time like that, because when you do go off to college, you're on your own. You're an adult, and you're responsible for your own progress and.
You have the independence.
Yeah. You're independent, and you have to be able to handle the level of independence, and make sure it doesn't do you wrong somehow.
Do you wrong, yeah.
Yeah, I got plenty of time. I'll get it done later. Before you know, you're like, oh, geez, it's due tomorrow.
That's the time to break those.
Yeah. And so who knows? Some people maybe operate better under pressure like that. I've got a deadline. I got to get it done. So it happens. But no. Things have been good. Things are good at the high school here.
Are some of the skills that you use in like your educational career? You mentioned some time management stuff,
right.
But anything else helpful as a cocoach?
Well, as a teacher, you teach. At one point I taught some algebra in a classroom. And I think when you go on the ice, you teach. You teach them where to be, where the position. This is where you need to be in these situations. There's a power play. So how do we work the puck around? You teach them where you want that to go. You teach them options that they have. Same thing with, the other thing we talk a lot about is hockey IQ, like reading the situation, reading what's going on around you, and you teach that.
Yeah.
It's like putting an equation on the board. Let me teach you how to solve it.
Teach you how to solve that.
Yeah. 2x plus 3 equals 7. All right. How do we? What's our first step? What do we do? And I think, teachers sometimes make probably the best coaches, because you're a teacher. You're a teacher in your athletic field as well as you're a teacher in the classroom. And I was fortunate enough to have some teaching experience where I taught math for a number of years, in addition to my role as I started out as a guidance counselor. I've always been a guidance counselor, but I always had to teach a class or two. So teaching is very similar to coaching.
Especially math, right?
Math, exactly.
Like
math is
hockey
steps.
IQ.
You teach steps. You teach steps. There's problem solving. You know what I mean? There's thinking like how do you get to the end result? And I think coaching sometimes you do the same thing. You teach steps, hoping for the end result. Score the goal. Score a goal. That's the end result.
And for those watching, the 2x plus 3 equals 7. X equals 2, I believe, right? I need to finish.
You got that in, yes.
Nice.
That's good.
You were given an award at the Wasabi Fenway Bowl.
Oh, okay.
Would you be able to talk about that and what that?
Yeah, I was very fortunate. I've been very fortunate in my time here in Burlington. 24 years. I've been very thankful for all the people who have entered my life, the families who have come across, that I've come across, the students and so forth. And Kylie Weber nominated me for this award, and crazy enough, I won it.
Wow.
Which is kind of odd and kind of shocking.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's actually a very nice award. And they honored, there were 3 recipients across the New England states. There was a girl from Maine, and then another gentleman from Roxbury and myself. And they honored us at this Wasabi Bowl, which was the University of Connecticut playing University of North Carolina. And they did it out at the Green Monster, where they recognized us. Wow. It was very nice. I got to bring the team out. I got them on the field. They only wanted the recipients out there, and I was like, oh, I brought my team. I want to bring my team with me.
That's so cool.
That's why I'm here. I'm here because of them.
Wow.
So they got on the field. They actually got a really nice picture with the Yukon Husky mascot.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the Husky noticed that there was a whole team full of girls. And, of course, they had their team jackets on. They look like a team of athletes.
Yeah.
And the Husky came over, and they got this really, really cool picture. The Husky's in the middle, and they're all around the Husky.
That's so cool.
So it was a very nice award. I'm very honored and thankful, very humbled by it, to be recognized in such a fashion. But
it's well deserved.
Well, thank you. Thank you. But I'm here because of the girls. The girls are that good. They're great people. They're great kids. They're great family members. They're great sisters. It's just been like I said when I first said it, it's just been a wonderful experience. I'm very thankful for my time here in Burlington. I'm very thankful for everything that's entered and come through my life, come across my desk. I've been very fortunate as a result, and this is just another example of that, of this crazy little award.
Let's take a little break. We will come back after our player spotlight.
Caitlyn Tremblay, and this is the player spotlight. It's my 5th year with Coach Sheehan, so I think we have the player-coach relationship down. I'm just hoping to make my last season memorable. We're obviously coming off a very big season last year, so I'm hoping to take that momentum into this year. Well, my first year here was COVID year. It's kind of a hybrid season, so we're just taking it all in. I was an 8th grader, but the past 4 years have just been incredible. I've got to work with some amazing players. We graduated a lot of amazing players last year, and I'm excited to see the new players come up, the middle schoolers. It's special to get to play with them because I was once that 8th grader on the team, so just making them feel welcome and having a good time with them. That was just a great experience. I'm glad we got to take it in all as a team, kind of just great team bonding experience. We got to do a day out, not worry about hockey, and just take it all in together. Sounds crazy. I'm going to miss him being on me a little bit. It's nice to not just get all these compliments 24/7. It's nice. We have a real honest relationship. If I'm not doing good, he'll tell me that. There's no lying. So definitely going to miss that. Definitely last season. We've got to make it to the Elite Eight, which I haven't been able to do in any of my other sports other than lacrosse. But just the team atmosphere with hockey, it's a very locker room atmosphere place. We don't get that in many of my other sports, so I'm just going to miss the team.
So we just saw a player spotlight on Caitlyn Tremblay.
Uh-huh.
Aside from leadership, as you've talked about, what sort of ice skills does she provide for the program?
Caitlyn Tremblay is a very, very talented athlete. her soccer coach will tell you she makes a difference every time she steps on the field. She makes a difference on the lacrosse field, I know, and she's certainly made a difference on the ice as a hockey player. There's a play in hockey called the Michigan, and it was performed by a male hockey player on the Michigan boys hockey team, and he flipped the puck onto his stick from standing behind the net.
Oh,
he
wow.
flicked it onto his stick, and he carried it like a lacrosse ball, and he stuffed it under the crossbar. And it's become it's gained in popularity. All high school kids across America who are trying it.
To do it, yeah.
And she did it in a game last season against Wellesley.
Wow.
It was 0-0 in the first period. She's behind the net. She flipped it onto her stick, came out from behind the net, and stuffed it right under the crossbar.
That's crazy.
And it was such an amazing play that when we went to scrimmage Boston Latin the next week, the referee who was going to scrimmage, that was going to ref our Boston Latin game, recognized me and came up to me and said, "Where is number 2? I was the referee in that game. I saw that move she made. I couldn't believe. I was so excited for her."
Wow.
Yes, it was really something. I don't think I've ever seen it in girls hockey ever. I know boys hockey have tried it. I'm sure there are girls who have done it, but she actually did it in a game, in a meaningful game too. It wasn't like a game where we were up by several goals and she decided to do some trick play. Yeah, it was a meaningful.
This was necessary.
Yeah, it was a good goal. That just, I think, speaks to the level of the talent that she has. She just. We have a set play where we run a breakaway play for her. I get a stretch pass. She takes off through the neutral zone, and I get one of the defensemen gets the puck out to her, and it's a set play. Sure. Yeah, she's good for a breakaway or two a game. She reads the play. She understands. I mentioned hockey IQ and how important some of that stuff is. Reading the situation, reading the players around you, and she is very, very good. She's just. I think if she did she could pick up anything. She could go down and play on the girls' basketball team right now. Do you know what I'm saying? I think she could go out on the girls' softball field and be a softball player.
It's an all-around great.
Yeah, she's just an all-around really, really good athlete. But in addition to like God-given talent, she has like the intuition. She has the IQ. She gets like she's very coachable. She's very, very coachable. She does some things. All you do is mention something to her, and she picks up on it pretty quickly.
Wow.
Yeah, and she practices a lot. She does a lot of stuff on her own.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in addition to what we do, you just tell she fumbles with the puck. She tries things, and some girls sometimes aren't willing to. Some people don't want to try things because they're not willing to fail, and she's not like that. She'll try things and she'll try things until she gets it. And and then her level of compete is off the chart. She could be exhausted, and she will give you every ounce of energy that girl has in her body. She'll back check, she forechecks. She actually made a back check the play this year against Malden Catholic. The girl had a breakaway.
Wow.
And Caitlyn came out of nowhere and totally dove and poked the puck into the corner, which was a safe spot. Totally made the play, and the girl had no idea Caitlyn was coming. And it was just a sheer energy play. Speaking of that, we offer after each game, we hand out a game puck for the grittiest play of the game. And the girl who wins it the most in the course of a season gets her name put on a plaque that hangs in our locker room.
Okay.
And you know the first name on the very first plaque 2 years ago is? It's Caitlyn Tremblay.
It's
Caitlyn Tremblay. It's Caitlyn Tremblay.
Yeah.
That's just who she is. She has grit. She has desire. She's an athlete. She really is.
It's impressive.
Yeah, she is. She's very impressive.
Looking at the team overall, then, what are some ways they've put into play, and what do you emphasize really in practices? In practice,
you have to work hard. Not everything goes right. The game of hockey is a quick game. The puck does funny things. It bounces. Not everything goes well, but if you work hard, I think generally you'll find yourself successful. Again, we do a lot of repetition in practice. If you work hard at it, certain things like the defensive zone systems will come to you. Do you know what I mean? The forecheck, you'll cause a turnover. Our power play, they move the puck around really well. The shorthanded, they know how to defend the shorthanded. We do certain drills. We do rebound drills to help the goalie. We do rebound drills to help the defense. So you do those things. And if you just work hard, if you're consistent in your work ethic, which the girls have been over the years, it has worked for us. it's helped us along the way.
A lot, yeah.
And I think that's where, high school hockey, high school sports in general as a coach, I've been around high school sports for almost 40 years. And I think any coach will tell you they want a consistent effort. If you give me the same effort night in and night out, we'll be okay in the long run. And I think that's probably one of the biggest things that our girls do, and one of the biggest things I think that is important.
Just working hard is like a valuable.
Yeah, it's a valuable skill. It's a valuable trait, and that translates into the real world, into the work world. If you're a hard worker, you get rewarded. You work hard, you're consistent at it, you do your job, you get rewarded.
Yeah. How has this group shown like growth, I guess, during their wins and losses?
That's a good question. You learn from your mistakes. And those are some of the things, like, when you go into a practice after the game, you look at the things that work, but you also look at the things that didn't work and how can we improve on those things. And that's one of the things we work on, is improvement areas that we need. Rebound control is a big one. Goalie makes the first save. She's done her job. Now it's our job to get rid of the puck. And we've given up some rebound goals this year. So that's one of the things we've worked on. So you try to work on your weaknesses. You continue to do the things you do well. Like, we run that power play. My power play works well. They move the puck around really well. But we probably practice it twice a week. So we're 8 weeks in. They know what they're doing. Do you know what I mean? They get it. But you still practice it because, like I said, the game changes so quickly. You could fall down on the ice, and all of a sudden the play falls apart. You're going to make a pass and you fan on the puck, and then someone walks in, and within the blink of an eye, they just stole the puck from you.
So many changes.
Yeah, it's such a quick game. There's a lot of speed and a lot of quick reaction type decisions that have to be made. And you practice those things. Like I said, you look at the games that you've played, what went well, what didn't. You continue to work on the things that have gone well, and then you obviously try to rectify, change, fix the things that maybe haven't gone well. And the young kids are good. You know what I mean? Their attention span's been great. Their focus has been good. Again, I think last year's senior class set a really good bar for them as well. For the 8th graders who were 7th graders last year. Caitlyn and Ava and Emma, as well as Carly, who's a junior on our team. Ellie Benjamin is a sophomore on the team. Shayla, they've been around for a couple of years now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You think she's sophomores. The sophomores have been playing hockey for 3 years now.
It's a lot.
Yeah, most high school careers are 4 years. And my sophomores, they're 10th graders, and they're in their 3rd year. So they've been around for a while. So they know the drill. They know what we do. They know the things you need to do. They've been in the locker room before, and they see the competition's good. The Middlesex League is a good league. It's a strong league. There's a lot of very good hockey players in that league. And every year, there's good players. And then you get into the state tournament level, and that's when you really see some good competition. And we've been able to play against it. We've made it that far that we've been able to experience the state level at a high level.
That's good.
Yeah.
Are there any underclassmen who, you talked about some sophomores or even freshmen or 8th graders or 7th, who have shown like promise to be like major contributors for like the future of the program?
Yeah. One of the better players we have is an 8th grader, Chloe Rabazi. She plays defense for us. She played last year as a 7th grader, and she's very similar to a Caitlyn in that she's a very good athlete. She sees the ice well. She makes good decisions. She works very hard at the game. She's coachable. She does the things you ask, and she's got some talent. She really, again, stick handling a puck on the ice on a 1/4-inch blade, skating while you're trying to move is a very difficult thing to do. Being able to pick your head up, stick handle that puck is tricky for hockey players in general. And Chloe's been able to do it at a young age, and she's definitely probably one of the younger standouts that we have. All the 8th graders actually are very good. Sophia Cleary's another one. She's a right wing. She's very coachable. She moves the puck very well. She plays with Caitlyn, which is a tough thing to do. Caitlyn's a good player. She skates fast. There's a lot that goes on when you try to play with Caitlyn Tremblay. And Emma Steiner as the left wing and Sophia as the right wing they've been able to play with her, and that's a huge ordeal. That's a big thing
to
for her.
Be
to accomplish.
That level.
To be able to play at that level, and she's only 13. Riel Curran is another defenseman who's an 8th grader, and she's done the same thing. She has stepped up and improved her game. They play a lot of minutes. She plays a power play. She's on the shorthanded, you know, and then the goalie. You never know she's an 8th grader by the way she plays. She's very cool, calm, collected. She makes her saves. She doesn't get it flustered. She moves things to the corner. You know, I've gotten a lot of compliments on the younger kids because people don't realize that
They can play that well.
Yeah, and half our team is middle schoolers. You know, there's 5 out of the 12 hockey players are.
Small team on its own, but like.
We're middle schoolers, yeah. You know, so you know, those young kids have really contributed. They've all stepped up in their own way, their own individual way. You know, hockey's you don't have clones in hockey. Everyone brings a little something different to the table. Some people are faster skaters. Some people have a better shot. Some people see the ice a little differently or better. And you know, to try to find the right combination. But everybody who brings something to the table really has contributed. I can't really say that there's anybody who is, you know, playing and is just not helping us win. You know what I mean? The whole team, like I said, Ellie and Carly have stepped up their game to play defense for us. I mean, that's a huge thing. You know, you ask a forward to play defense and they look at you like you have 3 heads. Like, come on, you can't be serious, right? And Carly and Ellie have done that. Do you know what I mean? They've said, I'll play defense, and they've actually gotten good at it. They know what they're doing. They're making good decisions. They're moving the puck like they're supposed to. And it's a tough thing to do. It's like I said, when a defenseman makes they make a bad decision, it usually leads to a goal scoring chance. Yeah. You
It
know,
has an impact.
Yeah, it does. It has a bigger impact than when a forward makes a bad decision. And they've all stepped up their game. It's been a fun season so far. We've got some big games coming up. We're playing Belmont next. We play Woburn after that. We play Winchester after that. You know, those are some really good programs.
Yeah.
You know, we'll have our hands full in the next week and a half.
But sounds good. I mean, so I guess kind of like to wrap things up, what are some of your coaching philosophies? Like, are you more like an offensive or defensive generally?
No. Well, I was a forward in high school and college, but you know, I think you have to stick to some basics. There's a lot goes on in the course of even just one shift. Things are so fast. You know, the ice is slippery. There's a lot that goes on. The hockey blade itself is only a 1/4 inch wide. You know, just your own balance and being able to do things. It's a lot. It's a lot to be able to, you know, you're not on solid ground.
Yeah.
You're not on sneakers. You're not on a court. You're not in cleats on grass. You know, you're on a 1/4 inch blade. So it does make it tricky. But, you know, one of the things is you've got to do some basics. And if you can do the basic things well, you'll be okay. Do you know what I mean? And then, you know,
get good at those. Like.
Yeah, you get good at some of the basic things. You know what I mean? And you have to work, you know, you have to work hard, which is that's one of the bar pieces, is that the bar is high for your work ethic. You know what I mean? We don't settle for laziness or just waiting for someone else to do it. You know what I mean? Oh, could you go get the puck and get it for me? That's not how the game's played. Yeah, that's not how the game's played. Some people glide. They want to glide. I said, you can't glide. You have to move your feet. And they do that. They pay attention to that. But, you know, it's not really an offensive defense. I mean, it's such a transition sport. You have to teach, even in your own zone, you can go into offense. In the offensive zone, you can go into defense. You know what I mean? They kind of have to understand the transition game, because it's until you get possession of the puck, then things change. But like I said, if you can outwork people, and I've said this to them in terms of talking about grit, is that I'd rather have a team full of gritty players than a team full of talented players, because a gritty team will outwork you and outwork the talented players any day of the week.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? And I think your work ethic in that sense, you know, will
matter infinitely more than talent.
In the long run, it comes out. You'll come out on top if you outwork your opponent. And I think that's probably one of the biggest things I teach them is to work hard.
Work hard.
Yep. You know, and they have.
So,
they have. Yeah, no, it's been a lot of fun watching them.
That's good. That's really good. All right.
Are we done, Robert?
I think we're done. Yeah. Thank you for this interview. And
no, thank you for having me. I always enjoy this. I enjoy talking to you.
We will be right back.
So, dude, I did the most shocking thing today. It was just something I never thought I'd do.
Did your parents find out?
My mom cried.
What'd you do?
So, what are some of your jobs and duties on the hockey team?
As an assistant captain, I think it's important to show good leadership, especially for the girls on our team because we have a lot of young players from middle school too, and it's important to have someone that they can look up to and like understand what to do on the team.
Like a good role model.
Yeah, exactly.
That's cool. When did you start playing hockey, and what were some of like the factors influencing that?
I started playing in 2nd grade, and I kind of just liked the sport ever since. And my dad was my coach for a while, so I feel like he definitely was a big influence on continue to play in high school. And then kind of just got to high school and I just stuck with it, and yeah. Never really
Continue
stopped.
playing.
Yeah.
And do you play any other sports? Or?
Yes, I play lacrosse too.
Oh, nice. How do those like compare? Like.
Surprisingly, they're kind of similar the same way, but hockey's skating is involved instead of running. So
Yeah. What are some of your favorite highlights from this hockey season, and or either like last year's tournament run?
I got hurt last year, so I couldn't play. But
no.
But this year, I think my favorite was maybe like scoring, because I actually scored my first goal this year because
Nice.
I couldn't play last year, and then freshman year I was young, so I didn't play as much, but definitely scoring.
Scoring's
Yeah,
pretty good.
pretty fun.
Do you have a favorite hockey player, and who you like model like play style after?
I think my favorite hockey player would be Brad Marchand. He's a
Okay.
funny dude, and yeah, it's fun watching him play.
Fun watching him play.
Yeah.
What are some individual and team goals that you hope to like achieve once this season's about finished?
As a team, it would be really cool to go far in the state tournament. Yeah, I can definitely say everyone would agree with that too. Individually, it's just like being a captain, trying to be a good role model for the other girls on the team, having someone they can look up to.
That's good. And so like individual stuff as well?
Yeah, and like working on some of my skills, shots, everything.
Nice. And I guess, how do you think Caitlyn Tremblay has positively impacted the team and the season as your captain?
I think Caitlyn's a great captain to have on her team. She's a good role model for everybody. She tells people what to do, that like she can also do it herself. Like she doesn't just tell someone they're going to do something and then doesn't follow her own rules. She's also like very nice to everybody. And like if someone messes up, she knows what to say to help them. Yeah.
Nice. Well, thank you.
Of course.
We will be right back.
Hey! Come on, guys. Oh, God.
Thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
What are some of your jobs and duties as an assistant captain on the hockey team?
Just to make sure that everybody's like working together and staying focused and like all being friends. That's the most important thing, I think.
Good like community. Yeah. When did you start playing hockey, and what are some of the factors that have led you to continue playing?
I started playing in 3rd grade, and what makes me keep playing is probably all the girls on the team. Like how everybody's just fun and easy to get along with. So that's probably the biggest thing that's made me stay and keep playing.
Have you known a lot of these people? Like.
Yeah,
since?
yeah, I grew up with most of them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's been fun to play with them.
That's good. What are some of your favorite highlights from this season or a previous season?
This season is probably being able to play with Caitlyn. She's a really good player, so it's easy to play when you're playing with her. And then past seasons, probably just being around all the girls on the team and like making new friends and having friends coming into high school because I played hockey in middle school, so it's probably the highlights.
To know them
Yeah.
well. I guess on that, how do you think Caitlyn Tremblay has positively impacted your like this team as a captain?
Well, she definitely make sure that people stay in line and is staying focused and doing the right stuff. And she's a very skilled player, obviously, so it's good to have her on the team. And she creates a lot of good plays, sets us up really well, so it's easy to play with her. And yeah, she's a great captain.
Great captain. Do you have a favorite hockey player?
Probably Brad Marchand.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Same reasons?
Yeah, probably just because he's Ava's favorite, so it's
I
my
see.
favorite.
What are some individual and team goals that you hope to achieve this season?
Team goal is probably making it far in the state tournament. We have a good team this year. We're small, but we're doing good for ourselves, so I think that we could maybe make it far, hopefully same as last year. So that's probably a team goal, and then individual goal is probably just keep working well with my line and help set people up and keep scoring goals.
That's good.
Yeah.
Keep some goals. All right. Well, thank you. We will be right back.
Hey, Nicole, isn't your dad supposed to be here? He's coming. He promised.
Showtime, guys. 1 minute.
All right. We're here. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
So what are some of your ways you've acted as a leader for the rest of the program?
I try and lead by example. I came into the program as an 8th grader, so kind of came in with my head down, and I got to watch as I grew older, the leaders above me, captains, and I try and just follow in their footsteps. So definitely just leading by example and hopefully taking some of the pressure off the younger girls.
How have the experiences of last year's excellent season helped prepare you for this current season?
I think we hold ourselves to a higher standard. The past 2 years we've had really good seasons. I mean, coming off a 3-loss season last year into this season, it definitely keeps our standards up and keeps us motivated to keep working. We did lose a lot, but I think that just made us more eager to work and pick up where we left off.
That's good. Outside of practices and games, what are some of the ways you bond with your teammates off of the ice?
I think this year, especially because we have a smaller team, it's a lot easier to do team bonding. So, I mean, I think it starts in the locker room. Hockey's a very locker room atmosphere place, so I think we see each other a lot there. And then outside of the rink, we've got to do some pretty cool things. We have to go to Fenway as a team this year. And yeah, I think we just to go to pasta parties and stuff like that. So just doing stuff outside the rink, kind of forgetting about the game, and just hanging out with your friends and teammates.
That's all good, community-based.
Yes, a lot of stuff like that.
As a forward, what is your favorite position to play? How would you describe yourself? Like a goal scorer or more of a...
Well, this year I got moved to center. I definitely miss playing on the wing, being on the other side, but I like being in the middle of it all now. I find myself actually in a lot more of the plays than I have in past years. So it's nice to score goals, but I love setting people up, assisting people. I think it just makes everyone, including me, better around me.
The
chemistry
communication and
in the
team.
All that starts with communication, then we get the passing, and then eventually the goal. So yeah.
That's good. Do you have a favorite hockey player?
I didn't copy the other two, but Brad Marchand's always been one of my favorite players growing up. I think our games are very similar. He's very undersized. I'm pretty undersized in the sport, so definitely someone to look up to.
Not related to their choice. Once you graduate, do you think you'll keep playing hockey for a club or college? Or?
If there's an option, I would like to. I'm hoping to play soccer in college, so soccer's my main sport, but I will always carry a love for the sport of hockey, so if an opportunity presents itself, I'm not going to turn it down.
That's good. I guess if you could give one message to your teammates regarding how to make the season the best it can be, what would it be?
Just to not leave anything unsaid or undone, play your heart out, just finish strong. Yeah.
Leading by example.
Leading by example, yeah. You're never going to get this opportunity again. I know a lot of us might be leaving next year, so just taking it all in while it happens and not look too much in the future. Just take it all in.
That's good. All right, well, thank you.
Thanks for having me.
We will wrap up this episode in a moment.
What do you guys want to do?
I don't know. What do you want to do?
I don't know. What do you want to do?
1, 2, ready, go. Gonna pull the stops, gonna make it go. You're living on a wing and a prayer. Gonna put them things together. You know it's now or never.
Well, it looks like that's our show. I've been your host, Zach Titus. We also like to thank Rick Sheehan, Caitlyn Tremblay, Ava Robitaille, and Emma Steiner for their time. Thank you all for watching. We will see you all next time.